The geography and demographics of the country of Iran. So first, let's get into the political geography of Iran. So Iran's capital is Tehran, which is located in the state of Tehran, and Iran has many states, just like the United States. To the north, it is bordered by the Caspian Sea, and to the south, it is bordered by the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. So as you can see, Iran is bordered by quite a lot of countries. So it's bordered by Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Turkey to the northwest, and to the northeast, Turkmenistan. To its east, you can see Afghanistan and Pakistan, and to the west, you can see Iraq. Now let's take a look at the demographics of Iran and how they compare to the United States. So, Iran's total population in 2017 was 82,021,564 compared to the U.S.'s 326,625,791. Their population growth rate is 1.24%, while the U.S.'s is just 0.81. And this is mostly due to the much higher birth rate in Iran and lower death rate. The reason for the lower death rate is because just 5% of their population is 65 years and older, while the U.S.'s is 15% at 65 and older. The only reason that the U.S.'s rate of growth is anywhere near Iran's is because of the fact that that their net migration rate is much higher than Iran's, and Iran's is actually negative because many people are leaving the country due to the turmoil on the eastern side of the country that we will talk about later. Iran has many major cities, even though many people think it might be rural, with Tehran, the capital, being at 8.5 million people. Mashhad is at 3 million, and they have many cities between 1.5 and 2 million people. When you look at the U.S. cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Miami, all have over 5 million people. But as you can see, Iran also has many large cities. The next thing to take a look at is drinking water, sanitation, and literacy. So, in the United States, drinking water is safe for 99.2% of the population, which is very high. But when you look at Iran's, it is actually safe for 96.2%, which is a very unexpected statistic for most people to see because many people think of Iran as being a third world country. The U.S. does have 100% of the population with good sanitation, while Iran's is only 90%. But again, that is a very high number compared to what most people think. The United States' literacy is at 100%, and education in Iran is also fairly good at 86.8%. Most of the literacy comes because most of the literacy in Iran comes because many people are moving to cities where there is good education, and all of those people are literate, but the 14% that are not literate live in rural areas, which is very difficult to educate in Iran. But the rapid urbanization is a very good demographic and looks very good for the outlook of Iran. Now let's get into some of the physical geography and topography of Iran. So as you can see from the map on the left, Iran is a very elevated country with a lot of mountains. You have the Alborz Mountains to the north and the Zagros Mountains to the southwest. Now, these mountains have many peaks over 10,000 feet and would be very similar to the Rocky Mountains in the U.S. So the pictures here are pictures of the Lut Desert, which covers the eastern side of Iran. This is the image that that comes straight to people's mind when they think of Iran as being a barren desert, mountains here and there, hills, like just not much to the land. Much of the region in the Lut Desert is very war torn from wars with Afghanistan and Pakistan, and wars in the past with the Taliban, and it's made this area very unsafe for travel and is not advised to be visited by foreigners or even locals, and it is a very sparsely populated area because of this. Now it's time to look at a different side of Iran, and the side that many people do not see or think possible. So the pictures on the right are pictures of the Alborz Mountains north of Tehran. This is a region that borders on the Caspian Sea and thus receives a lot of rain and making the area very pretty. The bottom picture is a picture near Mount Damavand, which is the highest peak in Iran. This peak is covered with snow that is there all year round and makes for absolutely beautiful views. And the top picture is a picture from the mountains looking down on the lush valley in northern Iran that is home to the city of Rash, where the author of Persepolis is from. And this area receives a lot of rain, and it is a very beautiful place. It was this whole area in northern Iran was highly visited by foreign tourists before 1980, when it was a very popular spot for Europeans to visit. But Iran has become a country that is not as safe, and while Iran is working to fix this problem with tourists, it still has not worked itself out yet. But it is still a very highly visited place by domestic tourists looking for a getaway. And this is just important to see because it is not the Iran that many people usually think of. And it looks like a very similar scene to what you would see in Europe or in the US. Now you're probably asking yourself why. It's great, Patrick, that I know about Iranian geography now, but what really was even the point of this? Well, before I read Persepolis, I truly thought that Iran was just a big desert with a few large cities, and I consider myself a geography expert. After reading the book, I decided to do some more research on the country of Iran, and I found out that it really is much more complex than you would think. The reason is to dispel many people's premonitions that Iran is just one big desert in a very undeveloped country, when in all reality it is not really different from the U.S. We may be a different race, speak a different language, have a different religion, but in the end, it's really just in a different part of the world, and that's truly the only difference. When you look at the lush valleys in the north, the deserts in the south, it's the mountains surrounding the entire country. It's really a very similar place to the United States, and that's important for people to know, because informing people about something that's foreign to them and something that they would never get the chance to experience or maybe research for themselves is very important, and that is the true purpose of education.